Hello everyone, how is everyone doing? Here I am today and I am bringing you guys a video on how to achieve a full coverage foundation routine slash complexion. I'm going to share with you all of my tips and tricks on how to make your makeup last all day as well, because I want you guys to have a flawless base all day long. This video also includes a skin prep routine for acne prone skin. So if you guys want to see how to achieve this flawless full coverage foundation look, just keep on watching. Okay, so as always, I'm going to be pushing my hair back because we're going to be working along the face. So the very first thing that I always do before I apply anything on my face is of course prep my skin. And one thing that I always say is that your makeup is only going to be as good as your skin underneath is, because at the end of the day, the makeup is not going to look great if the skin underneath is not great. So with that being said, I always wash my face right before I do my makeup, no matter what time of the day it is. And I always use the First Aid Beauty face cleanser. It's a very simple cleanser. There's not like crazy ingredients in it, so you're not gonna break out. It's the one I use every single day. It's the one I always recommend to my clients, and honestly, it's one of my all-time favorites. So I highly recommend this one. And I also always moisturize, and I use the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Barrier Cream. There's a difference between having dry skin and having dehydrated skin. Dry skin is a skin type and dehydrated skin is a skin condition. If you have dry skin, that basically means that your skin underproduces oil, necessary oils that your skin needs to stay balanced. And dehydrated skin pretty much means that your skin is lacking water, H2O. And this can also be caused by like external factors. So this can be by the weather, because for example, when I used to live up north and the weather was really cold, my skin was so dehydrated, but it was mainly because of the weather. And honestly, I tell everybody, no matter what type of skin you have, even if you have oily skin, you have to hydrate your skin, which is why I always love using a moisturizer that is completely oil-free and it's water-based. So try to stick to something that's very light before makeup, because if you use something that's way too thick, that might make your foundation separate, and that's exactly what you don't want. So use something that's oil-free. It's something that is very lightweight and that your skin absorbs very quickly. That way when you go in with your foundation and your primer, and then your foundation is not going to separate because of what you put underneath. So now that skin prep is out of the way, I'm going to go ahead with primer. And my all-time favorite primer is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. So I feel like everyone that I've ever talked to about this primer either loves it or hates it, and I find that a lot of times it's because they don't know how to apply it. So what you want to do with it is do a few pumps on your palm like this, and you want to rub it really good and add some friction so you can warm up the product. And then you're going to want to pat it on your skin. You don't want to swipe it too much like this because it will break apart. Honestly, I found that for many primers, warming it up first in your hands works wonders. I always let it sit for a few minutes and then I go in with my foundation, because I feel like every single time that I've tried to go in with my foundation right away after I apply it, it always makes my foundation separate. So you need to let it sit for a few minutes and let it dry. Another primer that I absolutely love just as much as the Hydro Grip is the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. When they came out with this one and I found out that it was oil-free, same thing as the putty, but just in a liquid form, I was thrilled, because what I didn't like about the other one is that first it washed me out, but I loved it so much because it made my skin look like porcelain skin. So if you want to like really smooth out everything and you want to look like a doll, this is the primer you want to use. I always alternate between this one and the Hydro Grip, so it's really up to your preference. The Hydro Grip is much more affordable than this one. I think the larger size of this is like $52, so it is pretty pricey, but trust me, it's worth it. Okay, so this is a trick that I've been doing and I've honestly been loving it so much, and it's taking my NARS Creamy Concealer. This one is the one in the pot, and I'm gonna grab a flat brush like this and I'm just gonna pick some up. And I'm going to apply this on the areas of my face where I need the extra coverage. Most of the times that's around my cheeks because that's where most of my acne comes from. So I'm just going to concentrate it in those areas and make sure that they are all covered and ready for foundation. So after you apply the concealer, we're now going to go in with foundation. And one foundation that I've been loving so much is the Urban Decay Stay Naked. It is such a lightweight but full coverage foundation, and it just feels like you have nothing on. So I absolutely love it. And no matter how much you put on, like, I swear to God, this foundation does not look cakey. And I'm going to be taking a small brush like this. This one is the Morphe E48. But as you can see, I am just taking it with the brush and just patting it everywhere. Also, another benefit of patting your foundation in is that you are less likely to move anything that's underneath around. So that can be the primer, the moisturizer, or the concealer. So that's why the patting technique, it's honestly the best one, because you're adding on coverage and you're almost blending the foundation by tapping, but you're not swirling anything around that does not need to be swirled around. We're gonna go in with the beauty sponge. This one is actually from e.l.f. and I've been obsessed with it. It is so soft and just so bouncy, and it's honestly very similar to the original Beauty Blender, so I highly recommend it. It's only $6 and I already damped it, and you want to make sure that all the water is completely squeezed out of the sponge. The reason why I do this, like I go in with the brush and then the Beauty Blender, is because with the brush I'm adding on the coverage and I'm applying the product. And then with the Beauty Blender, I am blending everything out and making everything more seamless. And I'm also absorbing or taking away any excess product that I might have applied on my skin, so it doesn't look like it's too much. So another trick that I've learned and I've been obsessed with is using a lavender color corrector or concealer. This one is the Jeffree Star Lavender Corrector. So what I've been doing is applying it on the inner corners of my eyes, because those are the areas of like my eye area that is super dark and I don't like it. And the moment that I started using this technique, my eyes just opened up so much along with my concealer, and I've just been loving this technique because it really covers absolutely everything. Like all of the darkness that you see here, it's about to be covered. Honestly, I don't know how I went along without using this technique, because now I'm obsessed and I use it on every single one of my applications, and I think you should try it too because you would fall in love. And as you can see, I am also tapping it. I am not swiping it. So make sure you're using that tapping technique to blend it all over your eyes. So once you've completely laid down that lavender corrector, we're gonna go ahead with concealer. So what you wanna do is the triangle, which is from here down and then outwards, but always start with very little and then you can build your way up, because if you apply too much at first, it's gonna get very, very bad very fast. So go from very little and then just work your way up with the coverage. You're going to take your damp sponge once again and you're going to start blending out that concealer by tapping it all over underneath your eyes. Oh my god, look how my face looks. That lavender concealer has honestly changed my makeup game 100%. If there's any areas where you feel like you look a little bit sallow or you need to brighten up, lavender concealer, amazing. Amazing. So now it's time to bake, which is one of the most important parts of your makeup routine if you want to make it last all day. And the setting powder that I'm going to be using today is the Kat Von D loose setting powder. This is just a regular translucent powder. It has no coverage in it, so you want to make sure that when you're baking your face or you're setting your face, you want to use a setting powder that is translucent and has no coverage, because if you just keep adding coverage on top of coverage, your skin is gonna end up looking a little bit cakey. So just always make sure that you're using setting powders that are translucent. And this one is one of my top favorites, but I also alternate between this one and the Fenty Beauty one. I love the Fenty Beauty. I feel like it makes my skin super smooth, but I do feel like sometimes it gives me a little bit of a white outcast or flashback, and that's never good. So I just always go for the Kat Von D. It makes my skin look so smooth and it stays smooth for a very long time. So I love the Kat Von D. This is the small version and it's only $16, and this thing will last you forever. So try it out. So instead of using our damp sponge, I'm actually going to be using this triangle one. And let me tell you, when I found this on Amazon, it was like the best find ever. I bought a pack of 6 of these, and this is actually what I use on clients. I use it on my pinky finger so my hand is not actually resting on their skin, it's just a sponge, and also to set the under eye, and I'm going to show you why. So as you can see, this has the shape of a triangle. So what I do is I fold it like this, and I pick up the powder on this little section right here. And I always start with my under eye, but I love the shape of this powder puff because it has that triangle shape, so you can just press it wherever you need to. But I always apply it on my under eye first, and then you can bring it up a little bit onto your nose if you want to like sharpen in your nose, like contour it. You can totally do that as well. But as you can see, instead of just leaving the powder there, I'm actually pressing the powder against my skin, so it's almost like you're pushing the product in. And trust me when I say this technique is amazing if you want to make your makeup last forever. If you feel like there's any excess powder wherever you applied it, don't worry about that, because we're going to go ahead with a brush and just brush off any excess that you left behind. So the main reason why I got this powder puff is because Linda Hallberg, if you don't know who she is, she's an amazing makeup artist on Instagram. She has her own cosmetics line, and she actually has a powder puff that is exactly like this. Not only her, but also Beauty Blender has one, which is the one that I use to like touch up throughout the day. It looks like this, but this one is $15 a piece. And a pack of 6 of these is only $6 on Amazon. So it's a very, very comparable dupe, and I'm gonna link it down on the description below. So the second most important spot that you want to make sure is 100% set is your chin area, especially nowadays that we are using masks constantly when we're going outside. Making your makeup last around your chin area and your cheek area is very important. So you want to pick up the powder on the same sponge, and you're gonna want to press it against your chin area just like this. You can apply this very loosely if you want to, or you can actually make a super sharp line if you want to contour and highlight to be more intense. All I do is make sure that I'm pushing that product against my skin, making sure that the foundation is perfectly set. Around your smile lines, I always go like this, and I press the product in there to make sure that the foundation doesn't separate right there. And also around the mouth area, because we eat and we drink a lot, so make sure that that area is also very nicely set. And then last, I'm gonna go ahead and do my forehead. So do the same technique and press the powder on. I've tried many other techniques, and this one is the one that I just keep going back to when I need my makeup to stay all day long. So after you've applied your setting powder with the powder puff, you're gonna want to take a big fluffy brush like this, and this is how you're going to remove any of the excess powder. You just want to go over it very lightly, and this is just going to get rid of any excess powder that is left on the skin. So your foundation is finally set, and the last step that I do after foundation and after powder to ensure that my makeup will last all day is do 1 layer of setting spray. Honestly, you can use any setting spray or any setting spray that's gonna work for your skin type. So if you have oily skin, I recommend the Urban Decay All Nighter Oil Control setting spray. That one is absolutely amazing. But if you want just like a basic setting spray, the Morphe one is honestly more than enough. Alright, so as you can see, I basically drown myself in setting spray, and that's completely fine because I know that by the end of the day, my skin is still going to look flawless. So at this point, I usually do my eyebrows and my eyes. One more little tip that I wanted to give you guys is if you have that sponge, or if you end up getting this sponge, the best way to do your eyes and your eyebrows is by, again, putting it on your pinky finger like this, and then just resting it on your skin. That way your hand is not actually touching your skin, it's just a sponge, and it doesn't disturb the foundation or the setting powder. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows and my eyes off camera. I'm gonna go ahead and do everything I gotta do, and I'll be right back. Hi. Okay, so I am all done with the eyes and my eyebrows. As you can see, I did something very simple because again, this video is mostly about the complexion. So for contour slash bronzer, the one I always use is the Hourglass Luminous. Oh my god, I almost said Numinous. The Luminous Bronze Light by Hourglass is a bronzer. It looks like this. It is so gorgeous. I've been using it for 3 years now, and I just always keep going back to it because it is just that beautiful. And I'm gonna be taking an angle brush just like this. This one is the Bdellium Tools 942, but any angle brush is gonna be great for this. So once you've put the product on the brush, I'm starting right over here, like right on the tip of my, where my ear starts, and then just start on the back and then do this like wiggly motion and then just go back and forth. Also, always remember that wherever you put the brush first is where it's gonna have the most concentration of product slash color. So if you start right over here, then the most concentration of color, it's going to be right there, and it's going to be really hard to blend that out later. So you always want to start with the area where you want the most product in, which is usually right over here, and then you almost want to like diffuse it till the rest of the face. So that's why I always start back here, and then I just work my way down. And as you can see, that is much higher than the hollows of my cheeks because I want to create that lifted face effect. And I just keep going back and forth, but I always brush it back. I never brush it down. So that's the great thing about the angle brush, is that when you put it on the direction of the angle, it's honestly amazing. Your tools will do half the work for you. Another thing I always say. So if you have the right tools, you're gonna be good to go. I'm also gonna bronze all around my face, my forehead, or should I say 5 head, to turn it into a forehead. Now you can see the difference between this side and this side. You can see more shadow over here, and now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. To contour my nose, I'm going to be taking the same product, just a blending brush, way smaller like this, just because I like to concentrate the product exactly where I want to. So by having a smaller brush, you have more control of where you are placing that product. So now it's time for blush. It's one of my favorite parts of the entire makeup process. So I definitely have a few favorite blushes, but the ones that I always go back to is definitely NARS Luster. I depotted it, but it looks like this. And I also love Orgasm, which is right over here. But Luster is like the most perfect peachy tone blush, and it just looks so natural. I like peach tone blushes better than pink tones, just because I feel like it looks better and it looks more natural. And I take a brush like this. This one is the Inglot 4SS brush. It's way smaller than any other brush that you probably have used for blush, but I do like to concentrate my blush right over here. So that's why I like to use smaller brushes, because the smaller the brush, the more control you're going to have of where the product is going to go. I'm just going to concentrate it on the apples of my cheeks, and I actually also take it a little bit more back as well. So even though I want to concentrate it right there, I take any excess one and bring it up towards my cheekbone. So the very last step of our complexion is highlight, and it's my favorite step, even though I've said that about probably every single step I've done. But I mean, come on, highlight. I need highlight in my life. And I'm going to be using my Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Highlighter. I use a very small brush. This is a blending brush like for the eyes, but I actually use it for highlight because it's another product that I need to know where it's gonna go, and I need to concentrate at a certain area of my face. So I'm gonna apply it right over here in this area. Oh my god, look at that. So as you can see, I started right over here, like on my high cheekbones. Take any excess of that and put it on the bridge of my nose, and especially the tip. Okay guys, after the highlight, all you have left to do is set your face once again with your setting spray. Again, I'm using the Morphe one, and I'm going to drown myself in setting spray. So that is it for me today. This is the final look. I know firsthand that having acne prone skin and making your makeup look flawless and beautiful and make it last all day is really a challenge for us. So that's why I wanted to make this video, to help any one of you out there who are currently struggling with their skin and you want the most flawless foundation, base, and complexion. This one's for you. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. I am sending you so much love and so much light. I will see you on my next one. Bye.